the world tour that nobody asked for. Today we are going to be touring my world, and I'm going to be overly explaining absolutely every detail about this world in great length. This is going to be a video essay of a world tour. So starting on the outer edges of my base here today. Actually, hold on a second. Before I even start, long ass intro. Before I even start, special occasion. Y'all are getting sexy hair Nick today. I know I've said this before, but this is the real deal. This is me out of the shower. Okay. Literally, I don't even think I'm going to edit the thing. I'm just going to let it roll. So, yap warning, by the way. Disclaimer. So starting off here on the outer edges of my base, we have my tavern, which is the thing that I built the most recently, and sexy. That girl bad. That girl's bad. Oh my god. I would put a ring on it today. I'm falling off the edge of my map. I would put a ring on it today if I wasn't so distracted. So taking a look here, I'm really, really proud of this. This by far is my favorite thing I've built, and it's the thing I built most recently. What should we do? Should we do an interior tour first, or should we, you know what, we're gonna do a little walksy around. So here's the front entrance. As you can see, we have the vines growing off the side. And we got a beautiful kind of window out front, like kind of off the, like, you know, it has depth. That's what I'm trying to say. It has depth. And you got the spruce logs on this. Oh my god. Chef's kiss. Babe, you were cooking when you made that. Yes, sir. I don't know what y'all thought, but listen, I know a lot of people think I can yap, but I can low-key like build on Minecraft too, like on the side. But everything about this build I'm just in love with, like on a weird obsession kind of level. These windows happened kind of by accident, where I kind of have the top glass sticking out further than the bottom. Accidental, but I liked how it looked, so I just went with it. I think it adds just kind of like a shutter kind of look to the window that I really love. And then obviously you have the stairs above it to add like additional depth. And then these stairs up here are supposed to be balconies. And you can kind of see same sort of theme here. If I hop in free cam here, you can kind of see vines growing off the sides here. Looks really freaking good. So let's keep walking. Keep walking, babe. Same thing over here. Vines growing off the side. Oh. And a balcony over here. So, I'm about to show you guys my favorite view of this thing, and it's from the back. Show it from the back. So this is what we're working with on the back here. You can see the tower in the background with the stars above it. Oh my. Absolute masterpiece here. I feel like if there was a competition for the best Minecraft builder, this would put me in at least the top 10,000. This would put me in the top 2, and I'm not gonna be number 2. Okay. So as you can see here, beautiful elevation here. Architectural term. Beautiful look here. The window is lots of depth, lots of detail, and it's sexy as hell. Oh, he's sexy with it. But let's actually take a look inside. It's not just a good looker. She's got a good personality. Looks good inside too. So hopping through the front door, we can either go left or right. We're going left. So this is supposed to be like a tavern. Honestly, I could turn this into a home and it would rock it, but today it's a tavern. And we got a little table in here. Nice little view out the window. Look at me stomping all over the table, getting boot marks all over the wood. It's not really, I'm slowly gonna decorate it a little bit more, but this is like the basic idea. Table, chairs, table, another table. I like how it looks. I think this is I really want to find a way to get like villagers in here, but that's like a whole other story. I have no idea how that's gonna happen. We'll figure it out. And this tavern actually has a secret that I'll show you guys a little bit later. So as you can see here, the main room here, very spacious. Hold on, I'm about to sell this shit like I'm a real estate agent. Very spacious. Picture yourself in this space. Picture yourself getting absolutely plastered at the tavern. What kind of debauchery do you guys think would happen in this tavern? There would be all kinds of shenanigans happening. But look at the details. Look at the details. I know it looks good from afar, but you gotta zoom in here. You gotta appreciate the details here. Look at how I did the stairs, the upside down stairs, to give this room more of like a detailed kind of thing. And then, you know what? I was like, you know what? Let's make it have like columns on all four corners, just to kind of give this little corner like a weird little thing. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing when I made this, but I was cooking. And as you can see, open air kind of concept. You can see straight into the attic with the skylight. With the skylight, I'm just saying. All right, so that's the bottom floor. Beautifully done, if I say so myself. I'm over here like I'm my own biggest fan. So coming upstairs here, obviously you can look down, and we have 2 rooms over here. So if you are a weary traveler and you got money, you can stay at the tavern. I don't know how much I would charge per night. It'd probably be like 500 septims. I don't know what a septim is supposed to be, but 500 of those bad boys. You can stay here tonight. So this is that front window we looked at a little bit earlier. Beautiful view of the tower, which we will walk to later. And nice view of the bridge. So let's kind of walk over here. And actually, let's take a look at the balcony. It's got a balcony, I'm just saying. Look at that. So sexy. You got a nice view of the water down there. Like a little village home. What is that? What is that? Is that a horse? I was about to say, is that a donkey? Is it a donkey? What is this? I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Anyways, again, you can see up into the attic. Nice little skylight there. Beautiful kind of view of the downstairs area. And y'all are going to be blown away by these bedrooms. Just a bed, that's it. I haven't gotten around to decorating the thing, but you get the idea. You got this room in here, which in my opinion, if you're staying in this room, you get kind of screwed, because this room doesn't really have like a nice view of anything. It's just trees. But if we come over here, this room has a much nicer view in my opinion, because you can look out into the water, or you can look into trees. So you got little options here. You got options. And I decided, this is like my little nuances showing up here. You can notice I decided to use wooden planks as the wall to give it a more homey kind of feel. Otherwise, I feel like if it was all stone, it'd be kind of cold. So we went with the wood. Notice the details, the upside down stairs. Just saying. And to access the attic, you gotta walk all the way around. You gotta go all the way around. I don't know. And the attic, I left it dark on purpose just because I feel like it gives a nice contrast to like the warm kind of tavern down there. And then my goal for the attic is I really want to put a bunch of like barrels and cobwebs up here. It's gonna be kind of spooky. And I actually used slabs up here, or half planks, half slabs, whatever these are called. So that way mobs can't actually spawn up here, so it can stay dark and it's not gonna, nothing's gonna really be too crazy. But that's the tavern. This by far is the best build. It's only downhill from here. But my idea for this tavern was, honestly, I was thinking like I kind of wanted to do a little bit of world building. So if we walk over here, take a little walksy with me here. Follow me over here. So my idea for this was, if you can see over there, there's some woods and a glacier. Nice glacier, dude. Cool. Thanks for showing us that. Eventually I want to build a bridge between the glacier and this kind of mountain over here. And my idea was, maybe if you were like a traveler coming through the woods here, slowly making your way over here and around, and then over a bridge. There's not really any way to get to my base because it's sort of like blocked off by everything. So I was thinking, oh, you know, you'd probably get kind of tired walking through the woods, right? So you'd want to come stay at this cozy ass tavern. So that's why I built the tavern. That's the storyline that I'm going with. And I almost forgot to show you guys the super secret weird kind of thing about this tavern is if I hop in free cam, it actually has a basement. It actually has a basement. And if we come down here, the basement kind of like overlooks this little like centralized location. So pretty cool. I will turn the basement into maybe like a wine cellar or something. So kind of where this like random 1 block section is, I'm gonna do like a ladder down there. It'll be kind of cool. It'll look sexy when I'm done with it. But that's the tavern, and I love it. It looks absolutely stunning. But actually, hold on a second. I'm not even done with this yet. Hold on. Let me just point out the roof for a second here. This roof was unnecessarily complicated, but we made it work. So there's the skylight. You can kind of see I added some extra windows on the side here just to make the roof look more interesting. And I think it turns out really good. I don't know what these would be called, these little windows into the attic, but I absolutely love how this turned out. I think it looks gorgeous. Okay. So the next thing is this bridge here. I don't really know what inspired me to make this, but I'm glad I did because this thing is sexy. It's like, I feel like the bridge is a totally different style of build than the tavern. The tavern's more of like Skyrim RPG kind of thing, whereas the bridge is just total like fantasy, like weird kind of thing, and I love it. I love how the bridge kind of frames my ruined castle, which we will get to. And as you can see, I kind of have these little like end rods here. I don't know, for some reason, having the end rods kind of on the bottom and on the top really gives this more of like a spacey sort of vibe, fantasy kind of vibe. And I love this bridge. And then obviously you have the tinted glass here, and then these are just deep slate, like polished deep slate blocks. Looks really cool leading to the tavern here. And then obviously this pathway leads over to the tower. You guys can see the stars above the tower. It looks so sexy. Let me throw the Elytra on here and fly down here. So what's kind of interesting with the tavern is originally where the tavern was going to be my house, because this was originally a mountain. And if you're wondering why the tavern is such a weird shape, it's not because I had like a stroke of genius and I was like, oh yeah, this is good, and just made it this shape. There was actually kind of like a stone sort of outline. Like if we come down to the basement, sort of where these walls are is where like this stone outline was. So I just kind of built on top of it, and that's how this tavern came about. I just kind of followed what was there originally. But that area was originally going to be my house, and it literally sat empty for like literally 2 years. Literally 2 years. It was just a bridge to nowhere. So now I finally have something there, and I'm very proud of how it turned out. But before I built the tavern, this kind of ruined castle was what in my opinion was my best build. But as you can see, I was cooking, dude. I was cooking. There was let's just not beat around the bush. Your boy can decorate. And we're talking second to none here. Look at the look at the little elevation changes here. Look at the half slab work, nasty. And don't even get me started with the vines going off the side with the glowberry underneath. Nah. But I absolutely love the way this is kind of just this centerpiece. It's this ruined castle. And the only way to get to it is to obviously kind of elytra over. So it's not like it's easily accessible. It kind of is just a decoration piece. But not the what's kind of cool about this is if we come down here, there's kind of like this little hideaway down here. And kind of how this basement is how I want to do the tavern's basement, just kind of really dark and dingy. Lots of cobwebs everywhere, and like these kind of barrels with the tripwire hooks out of them. That looks like little faucets. And if you're wondering what's in the keg, it is cactus and hay juice. Yeah, that's what's in these bottles. But oh, by the way, these bottles, this resource pack I'm using, it's just cactus and flower pot. That's what makes the bottles. It looks cool. So yeah, this is like a little hidey hole thing. This was my like little house for a little while, but yeah, I really love how this turned out. It just has such a cozy, lived-in kind of feel, especially with the candles. Shoot, hold on a second. Get your little insect kit, little candles. But yeah, it has all the essentials of home. Alcohol and ender chests with all my gear in it. And of course, the 1x1 crawl space for... something just smacked me. For the, I don't know, I love having 1x1 crawl spaces, so had to have that in here. But literally, this mountain is totally man-made. It's not natural, if you guys could not tell, but sort of where this grass is on the bottom here, I just added stone on top of it and then built my way up, and it's totally hollow in here. I don't even know what's in these chests. Just a bunch of nothing in this one and a bunch of stone in this one. But yeah, it's mostly empty. Definitely a decorative kind of piece. Pretty much everything I've built in this world is decorative, to be honest. Not a lot of it has a ton of function behind it, but that's the ruined castle and I absolutely love it. What's kind of interesting is I used like moss carpet here, so that way I could obviously have the wooden roof underneath, but I wanted it to like look like it was grass, so the moss just does that perfectly for me. Looks really, really cool. And I think it's gonna look really nice when I have like kind of like a bridge between the glacier and the mountain over there leading to the tavern. I'm not gonna do the same sort of bridge that I like did here where it's like more fantasy. I think it's just gonna be like more RPG-esque. Maybe actually kind of looking at it, it'd be kind of cool if the pathway like kind of cut down here and took like a really long sort of pathway up. I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out eventually, but yeah, that's the ruined castle. I think it looks amazing. So let's get back to the mainland here. So as you can see above the base, we have the stars over there. And I love that idea so much, so I decided to kind of take that star idea and spread it around the entire world. Now this pathway is not the best thing in the world, but I think for what it is, I feel like it's kind of nice. It's nice and cozy, kind of lonely feeling, but I like it. Just a lot of very simple kind of pathway here. Nothing too crazy. But I think what makes this pathway look as good as it does is honestly just the stars above it. Looks kind of cool. Now here is another like ruin sort of thing. I kind of like adding decayed sort of buildings around the world. I think honestly it just gives the world a certain type of charm. Especially with the tavern in the background. Don't even get me started. That is a sexy view. That's sexy. But yeah, I think this is actually kind of cool because if you were to come up from the water elevator and came over here, it almost blends in a way other than these like random little posts sticking out, but you would easily, I feel like, walk past this. So if we come down here, I feel like this looks pretty good. I love the mix of deep slate with regular cobblestone on top, just because it kind of gives this like a darker look. Really love that. And this is just like an empty like storage room basically. There's not a whole lot going on in here. But if we come down here, it has a nice little view of my little cherry grove and the village down there. It's kind of obscured, but it's down there. And you have the tower on that side. And the mountain has this nice little kind of C shape to it, which I think is really cool. All right, back to the walk. But yeah, let's say you're making your little pathway, you're making your little walksy down the pathway towards the village. Or I guess this would be the pathway out of my base towards the tavern over there. It's kind of cool, I love it. And as you can see, I have these spruce trees kind of along the edges here, just as kind of like a sort of outline. I think it looks really cool this way. So this pathway originally was not going to be a pathway at all. And something you will notice about my world tours in general is I will always mention like random little facts about each area. So this pathway was originally going to be my house, just like how that tavern was originally going to be my house. This pathway was also going to be my house. So after I built the village, I was thinking it'd be really cool to have this area up here be my like just a huge house overlooking everything. It would be connected to the tower so I could easily access everything. But it looked just terrible. It looked terrible. So I took it down and turned it into the pathway. That's the storyline I'm going with. Alright, let's talk about the tower. This is probably one of my cooler things that I built. Looking back at it, I feel like I'm pretty proud with how it turned out. Again, with the end rods kind of fitting the theme of that bridge over there. Same sort of like theme, I guess. But this tower really is just a water elevator from my cave that's way down below to the top up there. And it's beautiful, but it is functional at the same time. So these kind of wraparound slabs here, this is kind of a staircase that you can follow all the way up. And I feel like it gives the tower like a really cool depth sort of look. And we got a little bit of a mixed block palette here. You have deep slate and black stone. And then the actual slabs are just regular stone slabs. And I think it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. So if you look over there, that's kind of my work in progress. That's actually where my house is going to be. I finally got around to like making a house, but you kind of see a graveyard down there, some stars. So let's actually take the water elevator to the top of this thing, so I can give you kind of like a bird's eye view of the base. So if we hop up here, you can kind of see down there's my village, some of my farms over there, and I have some farms over there as well. And you can see the stars kind of going along the pathway. And then actually this house is low-key kind of big. Like it looks big from up here. That's what she said. Little gatehouse down there and just winding sort of pathways throughout the world. And again, there's the tavern. The tavern actually looks pretty huge from here as well. Kind of see, follow along the pathway down there. So let's actually drop down here. And, you know, water everywhere. That way you can actually do that. And before we get to the village, I kind of want to show you guys my cave. So this water elevator does have multiple stops. We kind of passed by them. But this is the bottom floor here. And as you can see, something you'll learn about this world is I am obsessed with amethyst. So every possible place I could put them, I think I put them. So it gives this room kind of an ambient sort of glow. I really want to redo this room, kind of taking time to look at it. Very plain sort of build here, but it is what it is. And the torches above the water here are to prevent this from turning into ice, like this little water thing. Because there's been times where I would drop down this water elevator and these water blocks would be ice and I would just die. So the torches are there for safety reasons. But you can kind of see the amethyst in this resource, or in this shader pack, has this kind of emissive glow. So you can see it glowing through the hallway. Looks really cool, especially with the lanterns above kind of adding a warmth sort of look to contrast the coolness of the amethyst. So very basic kind of hallway here through, very much like a functional sort of hallway. There's not a whole lot going in here. There is like very minor details, like obviously the amethyst kind of showing through here. This is like a very early example of when I started using stairs a lot more to kind of texture things out. Makes it look like there's like cutouts in the wall. Just really cool. I like this hallway for what it is, but it is pretty plain. And then you kind of have like andesite little checkerboard kind of effect here, which I have a better example of, which I'll show you here in just a second. Let's see here. And yeah, For what it is, I do like this hallway. A part of me wants to redo it and do something kind of nice, but I like it. I don't really want to change it, but. So we have a nice little footbridge over here going over this kind of natural little river that was in the cave already. And yeah, if it wasn't clear that I like amethyst already, this is the telltale sign because they are everywhere. So this entranceway here, a little bit of texturing going on with the slabs. No stairs, just slabs on this one. And this bridge, if we give it a side view, very basic sort of thing, but I think it kind of works. I like that it's sort of curved, so maybe if I were on a boat, I could just go underneath it. That was sort of why I made it that way instead of like straight across. Okay, so this cave was my base for the longest time before I started building that huge kind of home that I showed off earlier. And this room here, very basic sort of storage room. I have a nice little unlimited lava source here for smelting and just a wall of smelters here. I don't think there's anything in there. And a very, very basic storage room. I've seen so many videos of people's storage room that are like auto sorting and like all these different things, but I never got around to making anything like that. So I just kind of put little signs up, just whatever in the chest, and just threw everything in there. That's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot going on in here. But I don't really have that many items, truth be told. But if I really needed to, I could easily expand the storage room all the way down to the end. And if we walk down here, it just goes into water. And I guess I can kind of show you guys some of my cave system. It's not the most like beautiful cave ever, but it is what it is. So pretty expansive here. So yeah, what's kind of interesting is where I got a lot of my diamonds was actually down here. If we swim down here, I gotta be careful. I don't want to drown down here. But if we swam all the way down there, there's like this really huge underwater cave that I literally found like stacks on stacks of diamonds. So early game, finding this cave was a blessing. But as you can see, same kind of checkerboard effect with the andesite, and then stone slabs for the walls here. And at the time, I really loved Enrod like lights. I haven't really used them since then though, like other than for the bridge and the tower, I never really used them again. But I do like them. I feel like they have more of like a fluorescent, like modern sort of look. But we got some sugar cane, we got bamboo. Bamboo is another thing that I really loved at the time. I don't know what that bee's doing, he's chilling. But what's kind of weird is for whatever reason, I put these like stone or sandstone kind of columns sticking out of the water. It gives me kind of like pyramid sort of vibes. I kind of like it. Looks really cool, Egypt sort of vibes. So we can head that way, and that heads towards our cave. But I want to show you guys my skeleton spawner first. So what's kind of cool about this is like my deep slate sort of mine, like a safe way for me to get a ton of deep slate without having to worry about mobs. But up here, we actually have two skeleton spawners side by side. So early game, when I first started getting like mending tools, this was an awesome way to get levels and XP to get my tools fully repaired. And I have my chest here with bones and arrows and things. And this bow was a drop, which I thought was pretty good. Power 3, punch 1, unbreaking 3. Like, this is a good bow. All you need on here is like flame, and like we're good. And then we have some chainmail boots, chainmail armor in here, which is pretty sweet. Actually, while we're here, we might as well. But yeah, early game, this was invaluable for like leveling up. Then if we climb the ladder up here, we have some tinted glass so we can kind of see inside of there. See the skeletons as they pop in. And you can kind of tell above the actual skeleton spawners, I have just this empty room again with the end rods, sort of mirroring the end rods down here as if it's kind of like, I don't know, like a mirror sort of effect. I don't know what I was really going for, but I low-key like it. I don't know what I was going for, but I like it. So that is what it is. And coming up here, you can sort of see I have like lava flowing down the middle. Just for whatever reason, lava for me was always this old school kind of decorative kind of block. So I wanted to bring an element of that into my world. Now this is an obsessive detail. What I'm about to show you guys is kind of overboard. But you may have noticed these kind of glass little blocks here. There's amethyst inside of it. There is amethyst clusters in the floor. And I took the time to dig them out and like place them in there and put glass over it. For whatever reason. I don't know. Obsessed, but it looks good. So this cave originally was all stone and it was very ugly, as caves normally are, but I decided to add grass in here, make it kind of lush sort of vibe. Glowberries everywhere, amethyst everywhere. This is my very plain nether portal. The nether is terrible. I never did anything with it. And over here we kind of have like an armor showcase, showcasing like the different armors in the game. None of the armor trims though. I never got into doing armor trims. We might have to do that at some point. But every piece of armor, and they're all enchanted with like unbreaking and mending just so I don't break them. So we have the Ender Dragon skull there, the Wither skull, regular skeleton skull, and just different music discs and different banners and things. Kind of a cool little display. Over here we have a trash can. I don't know why I put it there of all places, but it's there. So I think for a lot of people, when they think of my world, they probably think of this cave because I feel like I use this cave all the time for thumbnails because it just looks so sexy. Honestly, let's be real. It looks good for what it is. So originally, obviously this cave was all stone and I kind of made it a little bit lush. And where these trees are, these little squares of grass here were originally farms. So early game, before I had a lot of emeralds, I would farm melons because melons was like an easy way, like an easy trade to get emeralds and things. So a lot of my trades came from melons, or emeralds came from melons. But over time, as I started getting like raid farms and things, I didn't really need melons anymore. So I just had these empty plots of land and I was like, you know what? I love cherry trees. I love azaleas. And I put some cherries down here. It's sexy as hell. And bees as well. Just because for some reason, I love adding beehives absolutely everywhere. I just think it makes the world a lot more lively, seeing them kind of fly around and stuff. So yeah, you can kind of see more of the andesite kind of checkerboard effect texturing around here. And no, honestly, I feel like this was the first time I ever used slabs in my life. Look at this cute little pathway around the little square patches of grass here. So cool. I love it. But yeah, I feel like this little area is really cozy. And your boy was cooking. Look at this. Look at the details. So I added little cherry blossom like leaves on the floor. Like vaguely where these kind of fall, I added little like where the cherry leaves are falling is where I added like the little leaves on the floor. Really cool. Really love how this looks. And this little waterfall, if we kind of climb through here, a lot of this cave system is underwater, which is kind of cool. But this is just a gigantic geode filled to the brim with amethyst clusters, so that's where all the amethyst came from. And I literally cleared out that entire geode, so it was just like the amethyst blocks that actually grew amethyst clusters. Everything else is completely gone. But yeah, that's the cave here. You can see I sort of used bamboo as like little decoration places just to make the stone walls not so cold. I feel like the bamboo kind of homies it up a little bit. Obviously you have the clusters giving it that nice little purple glow. It's just really nice overall. And the reason I didn't do a cherry tree in this block is just because I felt like it'd be very cluttered. I think this azalea tree here fills it in perfectly. This cherry tree here is actually low-key kind of huge. Like, I'm surprised this one actually grew to this size. I did bone meal the shit out of it though. Just saying. I bone mealed that thing. This one looks pretty cool too as well. But this cave does have a secret, which I will show you guys in a little bit. But actually, I kind of like how this chest is right here. You can see I have a bunch of flowers in here and things, extra beehives. But yeah, you can sort of see the remnants of like farms that I had in here. So I had some like random seeds and things, some glowberries. But if we come through here, I actually do have one farm left that's down here. And I have no idea why I put these on the ceiling, but whatever. This room is low-key kind of useless. At this point in time, I don't have any real need for like a farm, but it's here. And I think I'm too lazy to actually change it. That's why it's still here. But I do kind of love how, again with the tinted glass, I decided to bring it down into the cave. I think it just looks kind of cool. But yeah, this is like the potato farm right now. Very basic kind of thing. Totally for looks. And if you're wondering about the puppies, these are the accidents, because I have 2 named dogs in this world that I will show you guys later. I accidentally gave them steak and they had babies, so these are the accidents. They don't have names. They're cute though, so they can stay down here. So over here, kind of have like a jukebox, and I have some random music discs in here. I have these lodestones. I low-key have no idea what these are for. And I'm not going to look it up. I just don't know what they're for. I think they're from the Nether, like a bastion or something, but I don't know what they're actually used for. But yeah, that's the thumbnail room. And if we come through here, this is the axolotl room. Little bit obsessed with the axolotls. But you can see, your boy was cooking with the texturing, because I even brought the dang andesite in here too. I even brought the damn cherry leaves in here. Where did these come from? Because the cherry trees are over there, obviously. Regardless, cozy little room in here. And if you're wondering about these blue ones, these are not actually like the rare blue one. These are like teal, but in this resource pack, they look more blue than teal. So that's the axolotl room. I love them. They're cute. All right, so I will show you guys the secret of this room. So if we kind of climb up here, climb up this glowberry vine, you can kind of see here, there's like a little cutout on the wall, and there's just an empty room. That's the secret. There's nothing in here. A lot of this world is just random empty rooms that have never been used for anything. I do want to turn this into something though. I was thinking maybe like a library, like a dedicated enchantment room, even though obviously I don't need one. That'd be kind of cool to have. Like a wizard little room. But yeah, I think as a secret room, it really is kind of cool because there's obviously glowberries everywhere. So it kind of blends in. Like, I feel like if I did not show you guys that, no one would know that's up there. I feel like it looks good. Okay, so it looks like the bees are out, so it's probably daytime now. But with all the flowers down here and the azaleas, the bees love it. They are thriving. But yeah, that's the secret stone room that's going to turn into something eventually. Okay, so this staircase here, this actually leads up to the original entrance to this cave, but we're going to skip that for now. I kind of want to take the water elevator back up just to showcase some of the different stops. And the Nether, obviously, nothing really in there. It's literally like cobblestone floors to like my trading hall into my raid farm, and that's literally it. I do eventually like want to start expanding into the nether once I feel like my overworld is kind of more well established. But we'll get to that at some point. Okay, so water elevator up, and the way to kind of stop at the different floors is I hold shift and kind of hold forward. And that kind of lets me catch these little blocks here. And this is one of the stops. This is like the main stop. Again with the andesite, the checkerboard. So this is kind of like the hub room of the base, like this centralized location. Honestly, probably one of the more plain rooms of the entire world. I think for as important as this room is, I feel like it should be more well decorated, but regardless, we're leaving it as it is. So if we go down there, that's a pathway sort of to the gatehouse that I pointed out earlier. This way, these are like the town crypts, and then this leads to the graveyard. And this way leads to a glass room, which I will go to next. And then this way leads to the village. So let's check out the glass room, as I'm calling it, because it's literally glass. Spoiler alerts. So this room, very empty, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it for whatever reason. So this whole mountain was, I flattened it out, and again, what is this, the third time I've said this, but this was going to be a house. But I don't know, I flattened it out, and I really thought this would be a dumb place for a house. I mean, sure, the view's kind of nice with the cherries sort of framing everything, but I wanted my house to be somewhere kind of special and more open. And I will eventually show you guys like the house that I started building, but yeah, that's sort of how this room came about, and never did anything with it. For some reason, this room really gives me like museum kind of vibes, just with the glass, the cherry trees, the bamboo, and then the end rod lights. And there's a random sheep that has been in here for literally a year. I don't know how he ended up in here, but he's been by himself, so you can see he's been like snacking on the grass here. But yeah, nice empty glass room. I kind of like it though. I really love how this kind of column goes up here. Really, really cool natural kind of feature here. But I was thinking I do want to sort of turn this room into maybe like a better nether portal, because like the nether portal I have now is really functional, but it's super plain. I think having like a room where it's sort of the centerpiece would be really kind of cool. And up there, nice little view of the tavern with the bridge. Just a fun little room here. And then I kind of took the glass here, made a floor out of it. Down there is a different little room. And with the glass walls here, I did not want it to be like squared off. So what I did was I just kind of followed along the pathway of the mountain little overhang here. And above it, obviously the tower, that little storage room. And I feel like it gives this room just a nice, natural, unique sort of look. Same with this side. We kind of fly through here. You can sort of see just naturally follows the curve of the mountain here. And what's kind of interesting is this is such a small detail, but there is this actual like glass sort of look into the elevator here. And here's the floor here, but you usually go through the elevator so fast that you don't really notice this kind of glass cutout here, but I think it looks kind of cool seeing like the water elevator connect into the tower like that. So I left it. That's a minor detail. But yeah, that's the glass room. That will eventually turn into something. I'm leaning towards the nether portal idea for now. Okay. So let's actually go to the village. And I absolutely love how the cherry trees kind of frame out this bridge here. Again, very basic sort of bridge, nothing too crazy here. But you can kind of see I added some vines overhanging this ravine. And pretty much this whole base is built around this ravine. I feel like it's sort of the centralized location. So free cam over. I mean, it's a basic bridge, but I feel like it does look kind of nice, especially with the slabs. Your boy was cooking with the slabs on this one. And again, with the cherry leaves, I kind of just placed down the like flowers sort of where these leaves sort of fell. But yeah, this ravine, I low-key overdid it with the glowberries. But I still think it looks fine. It looks kind of cool, honestly. And this is the village. The village, compared to the tavern, is not like the most amazing thing in the world, but it's cozy and I kind of like it. So you can see just very basic houses, but I feel like they're well decorated. I mean, we have cakes in here. Come on now. Well decorated, really cozy kind of room. I like this room for some reason. You would low-key sleep so good in this attic space. It would hit different. Naps would go crazy in that room. So yeah, these are all the village homes. And I really like this room as well. You have a nice kind of view into the water down there. Nice view into the courtyard, nice purple bed. And I really love how this attic space is. It's just, I love the cobwebs and I love like the empty barrel up here. So cool. You can kind of see, same idea with the windows here as with the tavern, how they're kind of like uneven. But instead of it being a full block, it's just these panes underneath here. Gives it kind of a cool little staggered effect. And the village homes are kind of a different, they're like, I built them using sort of a pattern. So this one's a 5x5 square. This one's a 5x7 like rectangle. And then same with these two. But I just sort of did this thing where the center is one block and then I would have these kind of accent walls. So you can kind of see it's deep slate and then it's like black stone on the corners. And I feel like these houses are like a really good early example of when I started playing with depth with my builds. So even though they're very basic shapes, I feel like, you know, tiny little details like doing walls instead of full blocks, doing these little overhangs and then walls on the side. It makes the world look a lot more interesting and a lot more like just detailed, even though it's very simple. And I'm walking along here. Like, nice little empty yard over here. I could definitely add flowers back here somewhere. But you can kind of see, nice little view of the dock. Another pathway over there. Just a really peaceful, cozy little world here. But if we come into this home here, I honestly, if I was to live in this village, I would definitely pick this house just because I really love this bedroom. Especially with like this little tree on top of the bookshelf, the wine bottles, the little table here. Just really cozy, and you have a nice view of the bridge and the town well down there. But yeah, this home is really cozy, and I love how the windows kind of look there, looking out. And then here's the last one. You can kind of see there's like a mostly eaten cake here, and that's because for the longest time, I actually had my dogs kind of in this room, and this is kind of like a nod to my real life dogs, because in real life, if my dogs ever find food on the floor, they just eat it. So the story here was my two dogs were in here and they found a cake on the floor and they were eating it. I don't know. That's the story. Again, nice little bedroom. This bedroom feels a lot more spacious than the other ones, I feel like, because it's less cluttered, but same kind of thing here. Nice. Lots of windows. You can kind of see the llamas that I stole down there. Stolen llamas. Again, the attic space with the cobwebs and barrels. Really cozy little homes here. I do eventually want to move villagers to this village, but I don't know how to like keep them in the area because I don't want them to wander off. So that's the village. We'll take a little bit of a better look at the well at a later time. But if we come through here, the left path leads down to like a nice little pathway through the woods, and the right path leads to a graveyard, so we can take a look at the graveyard here. Kind of see a nice little view into the village. And again, this bridge definitely way worse than that one down there. But it works, and I don't really feel like changing it at the time. But nice basic little bridge here. And this is the graveyard. This is honestly like the coziest graveyard I've ever seen in my life. So we have some crypts here. I really love the iron bars in this resource pack. It looks really cool. And for some reason, we just have this random obelisk in the graveyard. And of course, it lines up perfectly with the tower. I don't know what the symbolism is here, but it lines up with the tower. And this crypt lines up with the obelisk. I don't know. That's a random little detail here. But the flowers out front, the candles. Really cool. I love this little kind of lattice. I don't know what this would be called. Maybe a pergola. With the soul fire on top. Looks really kind of cool. Definitely looks graveyardy. But we have some tombs here. Some candles laid out. And a nice little water feature on the end here. So yeah, really cozy graveyard. Kind of small, but I think it's really cozy. And what's kind of interesting is this is the first time where I actually used vines, or I made my own vines with leaves. So this is like the first example of me doing that. And I feel like this turned out pretty cool. And then along the edges here we have spruce leaves, kind of as like a shrub. I almost want to make it open just so you can get a view of the water. But at the same time, I kind of like having this graveyard sort of closed off to everything. It's just its own little space here. And down there you can kind of see like where I'm starting to build my house. But I absolutely love how this world has just tons of rivers flowing through it. And I really like, when I was making this world, I really was just trying to fit the landscape that was already here. Like I didn't really do a lot of terraforming. Like everything you see here was all sort of here, and then I just decorated it. And I feel like it gives the world like a really nice organic kind of feel. So if we kind of come through here, well, you kind of see here I have a bunch of just like chests filled with like random things. Something you'll learn about this world is I just have tons of chests filled with random things everywhere. So sometimes it can be kind of hard to figure out where I put everything. But down here is the catacombs. The catacombs are actually a very early example of when I started texturing. Like I'm pretty sure this is the first time where I started like doing different sort of blocks to add depth to things. You kind of see I have these really basic sort of cutouts with like soul sand behind them. It's kind of cool actually. As simple as these catacombs are, I really do like it. I kind of wish I made it darker though. Like I kind of want to wall it off from the main sort of corridor here and just make it really dark and moody in here. But the story with the catacombs here is originally I had my bed where this one was. And the idea being like if I died I would wake up in like a tomb basically and like come back to life. It'd be kind of cool. But there wasn't actually enough space for the bed, so even though I could set my spawn point there, when I died and respawned, I would start at world spawn, which is like a couple hundred blocks away, so it kind of sucked. I'd have to walk over, but kept the catacombs, just it turned into a different idea. So you can kind of see here little parts where the floor is kind of sunken in or missing. I really like how these sort of look here. I think these do genuinely look like tombs. It looks really cool. So yeah, that's the town catacombs. And we're back at the corridor here. So we can actually go this way. We'll head to that gate a little bit later. So cutting through the village here, we have a nice little pathway between the two buildings, and I really love how this, I just like this little alleyway here. I think it looks really nice, cozy, nice texturing on the pathway. And this leads down to sort of like the animal farm of the world. So here we have a horse stable, which originally was a sheep pen that my brother built for me. But over time, I just had too many sheep and I kind of had to move them to their own space. So I wanted to keep my brother's build, so I turned it into like a little horse stable. So my skeleton horse in here, nice little like water trough, hay bales, just really cool little thing. You can see like mushrooms and like coarse dirt throughout it. It's kind of cool actually. I really love this. Super nice. And then I love how this pathway kind of there's like a nice little edge to it. You can look down into the water, look down at the other pathways, kind of see the dock down there. But I really like this view. I feel like it's a nice little walk into the village. But if we continue down this way, this will actually lead to the sheep farm. And originally I had the sheep kind of like penned up in like a glass room, but I wanted to give them like a nice little open space that they can roam around into. So I have free roaming rainbow sheep around the world, and it's kind of cool. I really like this little farm area. And again with the llamas, I do want to say I have not killed any wandering traders. I don't think it shows in the statistics, but I have not. I literally put boats down and the llamas got in them, and that's that. So no wandering traders were harmed in the seizing of these llamas. You can see they're so cute. I don't think he liked that very much. He's like, get off of me. But what's kind of cool with this is there is like a little watering trough here, and I was like, it would make sense if a mushroom was growing next to it. You know, I don't know. So yeah, this is my little sheep farm. Nice little staircase, or not staircase, nice little fences. So you can kind of overlook into the river, see how it leads into like the dock that's down there. It's kind of a small dock, but it doesn't really get used a whole lot. So it is what it is. But this is such like a fun little look. I think it'd be really cool, especially if you were coming from the water, sort of seeing the sheep farm as you're coming along here with the tower, the stars, everything. It all adds up. It's all atmosphere. And while we're over here, actually, you can kind of see the columns here that were at the graveyard. I kind of moved them or built the same ones, sort of following along the water's edge here. And I actually added, this is such a minor detail, but I added these kind of vines growing out of like the gravel here. And because I wanted to sort of lively up this stone like cliff face over here without like, I didn't want to do grass. So I was like, you know what, it'd be kind of cool to have vines. And I feel like it gives it a much better look than if it was just plain gravel and plain stone without it being like too over the top. So yeah, that's that. So that's the sheep farm. And I can actually show you guys a little bit of, it's not so much of a secret, but it is kind of cool. So if you were to come off the path here, there's just this random hole, and it leads into a sewer that runs along the underneath of my village. So that well that we were looking at earlier, that is like the main way into this sewer, and this is just kind of like an open air kind of part of it. So you can see it runs along here, and the theme here was that it's just, for some reason, it's open and there's vines growing into it, and it looks really cool. I love it. So let's head back to the village. Like I said, I love how this pathway, just so much, you know, with the azaleas growing over top of it. I remember when I built this like staircase up, I was really proud of how it turned out because I spent a lot of time like bone mealing these azaleas so that way they like grew the right way. It just looks so good. So really proud of how that turned out. And we can actually cut across here. You can kind of see like along the edges of the pathway there's like tons of detail, but there is like these random little empty spaces in between things that's just like, kind of plain. So this gate, not functional, but I think it looks kind of cool. Sort of breaks up like where the village ends and where like the wilderness begins, I guess. So a nice little pathway to nowhere. But what's actually kind of funny is this area right here was originally my sheep farm. It was about like 2 blocks down. So that way the sheep couldn't actually get out. But I felt kind of bad leaving the sheep like penned up. So I kind of made a cutout and led them all down there and then dyed them. So now they're all different colors. So that's the story of the sheep farm and how that happened. But nice little pathway to nowhere again. Overly textured for no reason. I never come over here. It's just an empty corner of the world. But if I hop in free cam, I do kind of want to make a tunnel through that to this village. And I really want to redo this village because it's low-key kind of ugly. And I think it's empty. I'm pretty sure all the villagers are dead. Rest in peace. But having like a really nice seaside village would be super cool. But we're working on that. So that'll eventually be like another kind of village project. And again, brought the cherries over. You know what? This pathway, even though it doesn't go anywhere and it's kind of useless, still looks good. Your boy was cooking with the details. So let's head down here. And this will actually connect to my cave base again. So just a nice little staircase here, very simple. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I decided to use slabs instead of like actual stairs. So it's like a really long staircase. And I just have like cobblestone sort of mixed in. Kind of a weird sort of texturing kind of look. I don't know. It could definitely be redone, but for what it is, just a random little staircase that I made. It looks fine. So if we go through there, that will lead to my cave again. But if we come down here, this room, I have no idea what this would actually be. But I do like it. I don't know what it is, but I like it. So this kind of just overlooks a really huge cavern that's down here. And I guess this might be like maybe a little ruin of some sort, maybe from like an ancient civilization, but you can see this cavern's pretty expansive, and I added kind of glowberries here. But it looks kind of cool. It almost looks like there was just a ruin down here and it kind of peeks out of the mountain into the cave. And up here, we'll go to that area a little bit later. That's closer towards the village. But yeah, just the most random little projects throughout this world. But I think the sort of cutout effect that I was going for really looks good here. I think just the way I did the slabs and kind of these little cutouts here, it looks good. It literally genuinely does look like it was just poking out into the mountain. So, proud of it. This could definitely be like a cool little hideout maybe. I'm not sure. But coming down through here, this is like the original entrance to my cave home. You can see pretty empty here. Through this way, that leads to that seaside village that we were at earlier. But I think maybe eventually I will turn this into more of like a lush kind of cave with azaleas, different trees and stuff. But for now, it's just kind of empty. And truthfully, if I'm elytraing back to my base, I'll kind of like fly down here and kind of land here, and then that's, I use this sort of entrance to get back into my cave. So we can walk down here again, but just a plain, very functional sort of staircase. You can see back at the cave again. So yeah, this was my original cave entrance before I had the water elevator. And now if I'm flying with Elytra, this is sort of how I get down here. So let's actually use our Elytra and come up top here. So, this little hallway here, that staircase leads up to the water elevator. So we're down here now. Honestly, kind of a crappy little hallway here, but with the texturing, I don't know what I was doing with these stairs, but same thing. I liked using slabs instead of actual stairs, so it's a really long staircase. And as I was building this staircase, I found this little cutout here. So I added some slabs, kind of textured it a little bit, and this is just kind of, the leaves kind of block it, but it overlooks into the village, which is kind of cool. Cool little detail here. But yeah, long little corridor, could definitely be redecorated and turned into something a little bit nicer, but I don't really use it a lot. And you know what? I made an attempt. With the little cutouts here, so it is what it is. So nice little empty room here. There's the ravine. So typically I'll be like flying from my Elytra from that direction over down here, and I'm able to just kind of like slide through there, which is nice. But kind of just a transient little area here. Nothing too crazy going on here. I do really love how the glowberries kind of look here, even though they're overdone. Just the way they kind of hang down here looks really cool, with the tower overlooking everything. It's kind of nice having the tower be the center point of the base, just because with the constellation above it, I feel like that's what I think of when I think of this base, is being able to see the tower with the stars above it. And you can really see it from pretty much everywhere if you're in the base, so kind of cool. So nice little textured staircase up here with little buttons as rocks along the edge here. This pathway was probably my first like really good pathway build. So nice little mix of mossy stone, mossy cobblestone, podzol, gravel, and then the moss carpet on top to give it that sort of like pop. So cool. And your boy was cooking with these mushrooms. Look at this. The mushrooms going underneath the trees. So sick. Yeah, I love this pathway. So this pathway up here, that leads to the gatehouse and to what will eventually be my home. But if we come down this way, again, with the random chests filled with random things, this way leads up to the village, and down here leads to the dock. So let's actually check out the dock here. And if we're coming from the village, I feel like the way I kind of decorated the world, it feels a lot more big than it actually is, because my base is pretty condensed to this kind of like small little land that I have here. But the way that everything's kind of pathed out, I like having everything feel like an adventure when you're walking through it. So you can sort of see, this is such a minor detail, but you can kind of see the pathway here. There's a lot more stone because we are in like the village. Actually, I just realized I never showed you guys the source, so I'll show you guys that next. But you can see there's a lot more stone, but if we come down here, the stone is a lot more mossy and it's a lot more broken up with the moss carpet over it and the podzol, because this is more of like a wild kind of section of the base. That's sort of my thought process behind it. But yeah, I love how these azaleas kind of frame over it, kind of like it's just a tunnel of trees, which is really cool. So yeah, let's go check out the sewer. There's not a whole lot going on down there, but it is kind of cool. I do love it. And when we get to my house, I'll kind of tell you guys a little plan that I have for this sewer. So I will end up using it for something. But kind of coming through here, I love how this well kind of is. Come to think of it, I don't really need this like light down here. I want to make it dark, but you can kind of swim through this tunnel here into the sewer. And the sewer runs the entire length of the base. I do love how the sewer looks with these kind of stone wall cutouts. The stairs up into like these glowstone lights above it. Gives it a nice like moody, ambient light kind of look. And for some reason I left a shulker down here. I'm gonna leave it. But this cutout right here, I'm just gonna hop in free cam. You can kind of come through here. It's more of like an actual tunnel rather than it being like built, so it's more of a natural look. But this tunnel leads out to the water. It's kind of like it's like a one-way tunnel, so you can't go back in, but you can come out, and it's like sort of hidden. Like, I feel like it's pretty well hidden, honestly. I love adding like little secret tunnels. It just, for whatever reason. So this leads out to the dock. If for some reason I was in the sewers and I wanted to get to the water quickly, I could do that here. Kind of a minor detail that I sort of forgot I did, but the bottom of the sewer is actually cobblestone, whereas this part is actually like stone brick. Kind of interesting. I don't know. Looks cool. Nice little subtle texturing there. And then obviously the iron bars here, so the water can flow through. There's some lily pads and some seagrass growing in here. This kind of looks out into the night sky, so it's kind of cool. Really fun. And this kind of just goes off over there and ends. Doesn't go any further. But what's actually kind of funny is you see it like ends in a stone wall. And what had happened was I actually reset the chunks over here. So originally this sewer went all the way through to the ocean on the other side, but I reset some of the chunks using a tool called MCA Selector, so it just walled it off. But I kind of like it though. I kind of like that it messed up my sewer system a little bit. So now there's just a waterfall into a tunnel over here. Kind of cool. Kind of a mishap. But yeah, very basic decorations with the barrels here. I kind of want to turn this little empty room into maybe like a thieves like hideout. I think that'd be kind of cool. Sort of like the Thieves Guild from Skyrim, if you guys have played that game. So I guess we could actually climb up these vines. This is sort of like a random little thing that I like doing. I like making my world like as accessible as possible. So there is a little bit of parkour involved here. Messing up the jump here, but you kind of make your way around the bushes here and you can climb up, which is kind of nice. So if you're in the sewer and you want to climb up, you can. But yeah, a lot of this world really, I wanted to make like multiple pathways and multiple entrances and exits to everything. It just, for whatever reason, that's what I wanted to do, and I really like it. And I feel like it gives my world like a nice little sense of adventure. Like sometimes it feels like you have to elytra everywhere, but this world, more of a walkable kind of thing. So this is such like I feel like the pathway itself is very well decorated, but obviously there's this huge kind of like empty little grove here. Maybe I could do more flowers, but I don't know. It does overlook into the ravine, which is kind of nice. But I do love this pathway. It does feel like it makes the world seem a lot bigger than it actually is. This was like one of the first things I built that I was really proud of. So, coming down here, I really love how this kind of has this intersection. So you can either go left, go right, whatever way you want to go. But let's go down to the dock finally. I was a little bit distracted with the sewer. This pathway, you can kind of tell that was like my first pathway. This one is more, a little bit better detailed, I feel like. And what's kind of funny with this specific section of the pathway is I actually made like an hour-long video where I like went into, it was a live commentary, like really yappy sort of thing, where I was trying to like describe my process behind building it and texturing it and things. And when I went back to watch the recording of the video, it was literally just the pause screen like this. So obviously that video never got uploaded. But what's kind of funny is I built this staircase before I built the pathway. So the staircase seems very like out of place, like again with the andesite blocks. But it does work. Obviously, I mean, maybe I could go in there and like redo it a little bit, but I kind of like it. I like that it's kind of weird. And here's the dock. This is another thing that my brother actually built for me, so I'm not changing it. If my brother or anybody builds something for me on this world, I leave it as it is. And I kind of like it. It's really cozy. It's nice and homey. We have one boat here. You can see these soulfire columns out there. It's just really nice. I would imagine the only two real ways into this base are from the water and from that like glass bridge that we saw at the beginning of the video. Because I feel like the base is like naturally kind of sectioned off from everything, just the way it's sort of laid out here. So we can actually take this tunnel to another pathway that would actually lead to farms that I have that I do want to expand a little bit, but for now it's just basic kind of idea. And this is probably my best pathway as far as like details go and as far as like my style. This is by far the best example of it. And this is the first time I actually added stars to the pathway, so you can kind of see this pathway. It looks pretty simple, but it's detailed in such a way that it just looks nice. You have these kind of stone like cutouts in the wall, or into the mountainside, maybe as if it's to hold the mountain back from falling, or maybe as if it was like a better structure was here and it kind of decayed over time. The pathway here, I feel like it's nicely broken up. It's not too beat up, but it's not too like established. You kind of have these stone slabs out here on the side, maybe as if these are like bigger rocks or something, and then you have the smaller rocks here. A nice look into the rainbow sheep farm across the water. Just really fun. I love this pathway, how it follows along the river here. And it just looks really nice, especially this time of day in the game, like nighttime. Really, really cool. Again, with the tower, you can sort of see it from pretty much every corner of the base. But this pathway looks really cool. And it doesn't really lead anywhere, truthfully. Like, it leads to these farms, but I want to like really expand these farms. I have this whole mountain here, and I feel like I could easily expand the farms along the edge here and just turn it into something like really lively and big, and maybe do a windmill or something. I don't know. The longer I play this world, the more ideas I kind of come up with. But for now, just a very basic sort of farm. It is what it is. Definitely a decorative kind of thing. But I like it. I love this long pathway. Like I said, I love making the world feel like it's an adventure. Like, I don't like everything being so close. Like, I like long pathways where you have to kind of walk everywhere. It's just fun for me. Okay, so now I can take you guys finally to my actual like house where I'm going to build my house. And it's definitely a work in progress. I've kind of had I built like most of it before, but I kind of had to redo it, so I dismantled a lot of it. So it's just kind of a shell for now, but you guys can get a nice little look at the layout, nice little preview. So following along the pathway here, coming up here, this pathway I feel like is another good example of, I feel like the pathway itself isn't really that good. This one's definitely obviously more established than the one down here where that one's more broken up. This one is mainly stone. But I really like the landscaping that I did here. So there's definitely like multiple layers. You have like the initial layer, which is the azaleas and these kind of shrubs. And then the second layer is the trees. The third layer is kind of like these bushes and plants. And then the last layer is these trees like on the outer edges here. So originally this area was all flat. There wasn't anything here, no trees or anything. So I had to kind of add all these trees in after the fact and landscape it after the fact, which I really like. But it does look kind of funny because like once you get past the trees, it's just like empty space, which is kind of funny. So it really is like sort of a set piece. I think it'd be kind of cool to have maybe like a small little village out here, but I do like that it's woods actually, so maybe I'll come in with trees and kind of replant the forest out there. But here we have I really love how this gatehouse turned out. Something that I built more recently. Definitely one of my better kind of builds here. I really love how this side of the gatehouse is kind of overgrown, so you can see like the top is kind of toppled over. And then this side is still like pretty well maintained, so we can actually, and I really like this part too, where I use trapdoors to kind of make it seem like there's a huge gate, but obviously there's a door here so you can go through. And if you hear them, these are my my dogs, my two named dogs here. They were in the house, but I had to kind of take the house apart, so I felt like they'd be safer in the gatehouse here. Mainly empty. Definitely a decorative sort of building, but I think it looks fantastic. Nice little overlook into the pathway. And then here's that overgrown tower here. So yeah, I really love this gatehouse. I feel like it really is gonna look super nice, especially when I actually finish the house here. So let's make our way down here. And right now it's kind of just like a storage room, extra little storage, and then a shulker in here in case I need to get my inventory really quick. And my plan with this house here is I really want to have like a nice winding pathway along here. I think there's a wandering trader like squatting inside of my house right now. So this section right here is going to be the entranceway. And let's hop in free cam here and you can get a nice little overhead view of it. Kind of an unorthodox sort of layout here, but I think it's going to turn out really cool. Does this guy have any good trades? Black dye is kind of interesting. That might be a good trade. Giving me attitude. Dude, you're in my house and you're giving me attitude. But yeah, that's a work in progress, like everything in this world. Really huge basement down here that doesn't, you know, totally empty. Just chests filled with building materials. But if we hop in free cam and kind of go down here, you can sort of see it's right above my sewer. So once I sort of build the house, I think this area is going to be like a library. And I kind of want to make like a secret piston door that like will lead you down to the sewer. So it's like kind of like an escape tunnel. I think that'd be really cool. But that's the house so far. I'm really excited to get that done because I'll finally have a house. So, this is another like start of a pathway. This one's definitely a lot more basic than the other ones. But this just kind of cuts through the woods. You can see this one, I mainly did like actual path blocks instead of like texturing it with stone. So in this pathway, like the stone is actually like rocks, I feel like, in the pathway. So a nice little woodsy sort of trail here. At nighttime, this trail is actually like pretty dimly lit. Like I spaced the lighting out just enough where mobs couldn't spawn directly on the pathway, but at night it's still pretty dark, which is kind of cool. I feel like this pathway, like since it's not so well like textured, it definitely feels more like wild kind of vibe. So I do want to lead this out into maybe a little bit of a maybe a dock of some sort, maybe a fishing village. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire world. I gotta be honest, when I film this I'm very sleepy, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this like super yappy type of video, and if nothing else, hopefully it was relaxing for you guys to watch and kind of hear how I went about designing things and my ideas for things. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.